Hi class, I'm Pichanan. Today I will present my project called When Technology Does Not Understand You, a problem-solving approach to voice assistant equity and inclusion. In this project, I apply five structure method: root cause analysis, prioritization analysis, divergent thinking, convergent thinking, and design thinking. I use these models to understand why voice assistants fail to underserve users and to develop a practical solutions. Now, let me walk you through my process. Voice assistants like Siri, Alexa, and Google Assistant are used by over 4 billion people worldwide. But for many users, these tools do not work well. Research shows that automatic speech recognition or ASR systems have error rate nearly twice as high for back speaker compared with white speaker. There are also similar problems for people with speech disability, non-native speaker, and elderly user. This is not just a small inconvenience, it is a serious equity issue. So the problem is this: millions of people who speak with different accent, dialect, or speech patterns are often misunderstood by voice assistants. Because of this, they cannot access tools that other people use easily in their daily life. So, to understand the cause of this problem, my first method was root cause analysis. It used two tools together. First, the fishbone diagram. I use it to map all possible causes across six categories: people, data, policy, process, technology, and environment. This helped me see the full picture of the problem. Then I use the 5 whys technique to deeper into the most critical issue by ascertaining data. By asking why 5 times, I found the root cause: a lack of representations, intending data, development team, testing standard, and policy. But five many causes creates a new problem. I could not fix everything as one. So I need to decide why to focus first. That is why my next step was prioritization analysis. I use prioritization analysis to answer one key question: which cause should I focus on first? I evaluate each of the causes using two factors: impact, how much difference it would make if fixed, and effort, how difficult it would to be fixed. I want to be transparent here. These scores are my own analytical estimates based on the research I review. They are not exact numbers from a published study. So, these metrics show relative priorities, not precise measurement. And this approach is common in the real-world problem solving when exact data is not available. The result was clear. By ascertaining data length highest, this means it offers the guessed impact of the effort required. Next was inadequate testing process, followed by lack of diverse development teams. Now I had a clear focus, but knowing what to fix is not the same as knowing how to fix it. This is why divergent thinking comes in. So, the next step is explore possible solutions using divergent thinking. Now, I know exactly what to fix. The next question is, what are all the possible ways to fix it? This step is important. I brainstorm with clear target the key priority loose cause from the previous step. This is to make this process structure, not just creativity. Using the top 10 method from the idea agent, I generate 10 ideas. These ideas fall into four categories: technical solutions, policy change, community programs, and organization change. I also include real-world input from my ESL classmates, my 65 years old parent who often heard "I'm not quite sure how to help you" and eventually give up on Alexa, and from my own experience as Thai speaker using Alexa for 5 years. At this stage, no idea were filtered because of evaluations come next. I had 10 ideas, but I need to choose the best one. That's where convergent thinking came in. Convergent thinking is the next step after divergent thinking. Before, I was open up many ideas. Now, I need to narrow them down to the best one. I use two tools for this. First, the full field matrix. This helps me compare ideas based on feasibility and innovations. The best ideas are in the top right corner: high innovations and high feasibility. Idea 1, 5, and 7 all land in that area. Then I use weighted evaluation methods. I score this idea based on impact, scalability, and how well they match the loose cause. Idea 1 and 5 both got 9. Idea 7 got 8. So now I had my three best ideas. But three best ideas alone are not a full solutions. So next, I use design thinking to combine them into one clear solution. This framework has three main pillars. Pillar 1: diverse data collections. This focuses on working with community organizations to include more underrepresented voices in training data. Pillar 2: open access-based dataset. This creates shared dataset that developers and researchers can use. Smaller teams also have access to diverse big data. Pillar 3: inclusive testing network. This repairs limit beta testing with diverse user groups and require equivalency benchmark before releasing the product. There are also two supporting components. First, an error reporting feedback loop to continually improve the system. Second, a speed equity report card to make performance transparent and hold company accountable. Let me summarize my problem-solving journey. I start with a clear problem. Then I use root cause analysis to understand it more deeply. Prioritizations help me focus on what matters most. Divergent thinking helps me explore many possible solutions. Convergent thinking helps me choose the strongest one. And design thinking brought everything together in two clear frameworks. The key insight is this: structure and creativity need to work together. Each method plays a different role, and together they create a stronger solutions. On my personal note, I'm from Thailand and have lived in the United States for 8 years. I used Alexa for almost 7 years and I was misunderstood many times. I also saw my 65 years old parent give up on Alexa After hearing, I'm not quite sure how to help you again and again. So, this project is personal to me, and improving equity in technology is the challenge that I want to help solve. To conclude, while assistants are powerful technology, but their benefits are not shared equally. In this project, I found that the problem is systemic. It comes from biased data, lack of diversity in team, and limited testing. But the good news is the problem can be solved. The inclusive voice framework offers a realistic path forward. It's focused on three things: collecting diverse voice data, building open access dataset, and improving inclusive testing. These solutions are practical and based on real research. Also, the five problem-solving methods were not just tools for me. They help me understand the problem and design a better solutions. Thank you for listening. I'm happy to answer any questions.